Welcome to the Unstuck Church podcast, where each week we're exploring what it means to be an unstuck church. Finding great people has always been a challenge, but in the last several years, many churches have found only frustration when looking for the right staff leaders for their teams. On this bonus episode of the Unstuck Church podcast, Tony sits down for a conversation with Tim Foote of Slingshot Group to discuss the hardest staff positions to fill right now, how to attract younger leaders to your team, and how some churches are still finding great people.
Tim, we know from our research and conversation with clients that finding great people for the ministry staff team, it's just very challenging right now. So what are some of the positions churches are having the hardest time filling from your perspective?
Straight away, I mean, any church search right now, Tony, is a challenge. I mean, for a variety of reasons, and you identify those reasons in the amazing reports that you do. But if we had to pinpoint the toughest roles to search for right now, they would be in the communications area. Communications directors, and then also children's pastors are quite difficult right now too. I would highlight those two.
So what is Slingshot learning about how churches find great people for their staff teams on this side of the pandemic?
We've got to focus more on holistic care for the leader. And so anybody's going to get an invitation to come to a different church right now that has a sunnier zip code or a larger salary. That's always going to happen because there's been such a shortage of leaders and candidates. And so how can you communicate your mission in an effective and powerful way that helps draw the right leader? And how do you communicate care for them, their family, their leadership development that's going to help them feel like they want to be a part of your team? It's all about purpose, direction, care. It's a robust benefits package. You've got to think outside the lines when it comes to staffing these days.
Tim, in our recent research, we're finding that attracting and retaining younger workers on our teams, think millennials and Gen Zers, is just becoming more and more difficult. What are some of the distinctives about these younger folks that are searching for jobs and joining our teams? What do we need to keep in mind with these younger generations of workers?
Relationship and connection is so important to them. Leadership development is so important. How can I continue to grow as a leader? What promotional opportunities are there going to be? Can I continue to grow in that organization? The best kind of leaders say to the younger leaders on their team, hey, you're not going to be doing the same job in 2 years' time. You're going to continue to grow in this organization. And then no surprise to you, Tony, that opportunity for some remote work is so important to that generation. Now, we know in church space, this is a real challenge because we need the in-person connection. We're dealing with people, we're working effectively with each other, but to let there be a little freedom. Is there a day a week that you can work from home? Can we be a little bit more relaxed in our 9 to 5 schedule or whatever that is? It's that care for the person's well-being and actually emotional and mental health. We know that that's been a huge thing that was revealed during the pandemic is emotional and mental health issues. And so being aware of that, having that open conversation, and then, those development opportunities and having open conversation about the fact that they're going to get other offers, that one day they might transition off the team, and being open about that and that not being an elephant in the room.
When it comes to raising up leaders from within the churches, what are some of the best practices you can point to that are working right now?
Well, firstly, it's one, allowing volunteers to step up into bigger roles. And so I know you've talked before, Tony, about how often we'll staff roles that could be done by volunteers. That's actually a great farm system to find leaders in your church because they will naturally step into those roles deeper and deeper, and that can be a great way to call in the ministry. Then once they come on your team, it's giving them opportunities to step up in leadership. It's permission to fail. It's bowling with bumpers, so to speak. So leaders come alongside younger leaders, give them opportunities for more responsibility, and then they take the bumpers away, and those leaders continue to grow. It's not pigeonholing people into their role without allowing them opportunities to grow beyond that role. We had a guy at Slingshot say for a while, I wish we didn't have to write the job description of employee until they'd been there 6 months. Well, that's obviously not realistic, but the sentiment of the comment is, can we let personalities drive leadership growth? And so we always say personalities drive searches. Once we're doing a staff search and we start to connect with potential people that could do the role, it often shifts the role a little bit once you learn people's personalities. Likewise, when they're on the team, how can their personality drive their development and growth as a leader? And how can their role grow with their personality? And so it's really taking time to get to know the leader and to tailor their position to their strengths, support them in their weaknesses, and continue to help them grow in their strengths as they grow as leaders.